Thank you, Andy, and good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Wide awake? Now, don't go telling me your get up and go got up and went, okay? But if it did, you're in the right place because we're going to fill you with inspiration and fun and excitement and love. Are you ready? We're going to start with an opening prayer, okay? So let's get centered. Let's take a deep breath in and let us know together. The power of God is the only power that is. I am filled with that power. It is inherent in me because I am made of that divine universal intelligence. And it lives, moves, and has its being as me, right here and right now. The wisdom of God is mine. And that wisdom guides me to make the best decisions, to have the best conversations, to say the right thing, to be in the right place, to be loving and true and kind out there in the world, right as I am. The love of God inspires me to reach out to those in need, my friends that are sitting right next to me, to just be helpful, to be kind, to be present, to allow, to let be. The goodness of God just inspires me every day to move forward, to do the best that I can be. And that light, that love, that wisdom, that guidance takes me into new beginnings of my life. And I willingly, right here and now, open up my consciousness to receive in a higher vision of myself, of life, of those around me. I take time today to center myself in the awareness that I am living spirit in action. I am the law of mind in action right here and right now. And so anything in my experience that might be stopping or blocking me, I let it go. Anything that might have told me that I'm less than, or I'm limited, or I'm held back, I release it and say, you have no place in my experience right now. I breathe in the health and the perfection and that light and love of God and know that my way is made clear before me. I make good decisions. I have great friends. I feel centered. I feel loved. And I know that I am the embodiment of that spirit. And I give everyone in my experience that space to be who and what they came here to be, without judgment, without harshness. And I let it be so. And I smile, knowing that I'm filled with vim and vigor. I am filled with the excitement of life. I came here to be this great light, as did everyone in my experience. So I move out of my own way and let that shine through. And oh, what a wonderful world it is. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. And with thanks, I release this prayer into the law. And I can hardly wait to see all the great things that are going to come because of it. As together we say, and so it is.
Good morning again, everyone, and welcome into our sanctuary, and welcome to those of you all who are joining us on YouTube, and I know there are quite a few. We have on May Day, this is May Day. Did you know that May Day is halfway between the spring equinox and the summer solstice? It's celebrated as that, and it's sort of marking change in our cosmos, which brings up my next topic, which is change. A couple of things are changing that are different from your program. Number one, The annual meeting that was originally scheduled for today was moved to June, and we'll give you all the details as we go along. But the other thing is, Dr. Moira is taking a very well-deserved day off. I see a few of you clapping, and isn't that wonderful? So just letting you know. And she has invited Dr. Sue Rubin to come and speak for her today. So that's going to be wonderful, too. It's a wonder. See, change, we do like change, don't we? So this is what's going on this week, and there are quite a number of things, so I'm going to get started. Hospitality will be in Richelieu Hall today, in the hall, so you can enjoy things together with your friends. And what's happening tomorrow is that the Tea and Chat with Dr. Moore is also taking a vacation. So we move forward then to Tuesday morning. Reverend Kathy has been doing a wonderful book reading right in the foyer of our hall there, right outside there, and it is called Your Aladdin's Lamp, and it has been very successful, and you can join, even though they've already begun. You can step right in. It's 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning. That puts us to May the 3rd, and you are welcome to be a part of that. That, of course, is in person. There is no Zoom. And then at 11 o'clock, which is right after that, we resume our yoga classes that we've started about a month or so ago, and they will continue May the 3rd at 11 o'clock in Richelieu Hall. So bring your stretching self and bring your mat, and you can be yoga for $10 a person, and we are eager to get back started with that. Then we move to Wednesday morning. We are continuing that book reading. It's online. It's on Zoom. So if you have not started before, you need to get the link for that. It is at 9:45, and it goes to 10:30. And then at 11 o'clock on Wednesday, so we're now to May the 4th for both of these events, we will have our Wednesday morning service here in the sanctuary and online. So we're just mixing it up. Some things are in person, some things are online. And you just have to sort of keep up, right? And if you get confused, call the office, and they will let you know. And then we move forward to Thursday, and we have yet another event. We have our monthly spiritual discussion meeting. It is in person. It is right out there in the foyer. So that's at 2 o'clock on Thursday. Goes from 2 to 3:30. So we kind of have a full week. And then that brings us back to Sunday. And next Sunday, we have two of our groups that are meeting. It's Mother's Day, but we also have the Sisters Club, the Lean In Circle that Donna Phelan has been leading, has its second meeting next Sunday on May the 8th. And there's details in your program, so you can check that out. And the Women's Circle is also meeting next Sunday, and this is their first meeting in a while. So check all of those things out for next Sunday, May the 8th. And that moves us to our Arrowhead retreat. We are essentially sold out. That's where we are. We actually have one double left, which is 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. So people that are willing to share a chalet, and that's what we have. We will start a waiting list for people who may be interested in doing a later date. And quite frankly, in the past, things have always opened up. But they're not going to open up for Arrowhead itself. Arrowhead is also sold out. So I guess lots of people are eager to get back to doing things. So if you haven't signed up and you want a double, you want to toddle really quickly out there to sign up for that. And we will absolutely do our best to get everyone if you're on a waiting list, but there are no guarantees after that because that's where we are with everything. And so as we move along, we also have an event coming up in June that we also are going to honor. But before that, I want to mention in 2 weeks, the teens are planning a fundraiser. And keep in mind that our teens are not unlike any of the other teens in this world. They have had a lot to deal with over the last few years. They've been meeting here online on Zoom for the last couple of years. They're now meeting in person on some of the days and on some of the Sundays. And so they're tiptoeing back in. And so summer camp for them is a bigger deal even than Arrowhead is to adults. That's my opinion. And I know that we want to support them in 2 weeks when they do this. And keep in mind that it is such an amazing time in the life of a youth and teen, that what we're going through now. And that's what I wanted to, it's a personal note for knowing how the teens are processing all of this. But then when we move to June, Mark is eager to talk to you about the fundraiser that he and the men's group have planned, and he's wearing a costume, and I am eager for hear what he has to say.
No, it's not Christmas time, but it is a reminder as you're going through your items for the yard sale to remember Christmas. Have you downsized that 10-foot tree to the 6-foot tree? To no tree? Maybe you want to give some ornaments as a donation. Maybe you have some Christmas knickknacks as a donation. Maybe there are some kids' toys that you have laying around. So use your imagination and look through those closets and garages for items. Now, I also have a hanger and a bag because we'll need hangers and bags because when you donate your clothes, not your dirty clothes or your worn out clothes, but wearable clothes, the customers will need the bags and the hangers to put them in. Now, donations start in 2 weeks, May 16th, Monday, and we also need volunteers. We're going to need setup people, we're going to need cashiers, we're going to need people walking around helping the customers, and there's a sign-up sheet, and I'll be in the lobby to talk to you further about the yard sale. Thank you for all your assistance.
Always interesting, Mark, as you move up to that. I wanted to mention a couple of more things. One is that Dr. Sue, who is planning to come in for the meditation in a few minutes, also is someone that many of us in the room know extremely well. She needs no introduction, she needs no explanation. But for those of you who may have come more recently, I want to at least say that Dr. Sue has decades of experience as a minister. She and Dr. Moira have been very close friends for so long, I don't even know how long that is. She is a great friend of our center, and the one thing that you can count on from Dr. Sue is the absolute truth. And that's the way it is. And she is a dynamite person in that regard. And oh, and by the way, the last time that any of us saw Dr. Sue was at Arrowhead. The last time we were there, and she had her 90th birthday that day, and she is showing us what it's like to be 90 plus and still being fantastic. And so we look forward to her coming, and we will celebrate when we hear her speak. And so now we are so grateful for everything that everyone is doing for us. It really is very moving how so much our members and friends have supported us throughout this time. It's absolutely fantastic. And so I never want to leave without expressing that moment of gratitude for all of that. And for our next musical inspiration, we are going to have Andrea and Billy are going to come up and do their thing.
Good morning. I missed you. Wow, the sun shines bright in my head. Wow, the sun brings life. I breathe it in. There's a sneaking possibility that I create my world with my intent. And how I wake up every morning feeling grateful I'm alive, that is the key. Just be. Just be. Oh, I'm being lifted out. In my dreams I'm flying high. Just, yeah, be. There are moments when I call upon the angels. Will they cloak me with their grace? And they protect my every movement as I'm walking in the world. It's not a race. Just be. Just be. Oh, don't go it all alone. No. Angels, they bring clarity. Oh, don't go it all alone. Don't you go it all alone. Just be. I see you. I see you. I see you.
Isn't it wonderful to have Andrea back? And she's a real person. Live, yeah. So, brand new month, May. The theme from our head office is Living Everyday Wonder, with the emphasis being on emotion. Our emotions, whether we label them good or bad, are amazing resources in helping us learn more about ourselves. Ernest Holmes, our founder, wrote, "In the well-balanced person, emotion is controlled by the intellect. But in many people, there is a conflict between the emotion and the intellect. Emotion uncontrolled produces chaos." It's a bit cheeky of me, but I have to just add that, in my opinion, we need to recognize our emotions and acknowledge the feelings that accompany them in order to really enjoy that freedom that he talks about. You can imagine I had an emotional breakdown trying to find something funny to say about any of this, so I gave up. Thank you. So ask yourself, Where are the doors that I have trouble keeping open in order to experience joy? Sherianna Boyle, in her book, Emotional Detox, wrote, "Through my healing journeys, I learned vulnerability is the key to accepting yourself and others for who they are, rather than whom you might prefer them to be." Years ago, well, actually it was decades, even though I hate to admit it, I volunteered at the Samaritans. It's a suicide prevention organisation. And I met a woman, we'll call her Maddie, who was in despair and reached out for help. In most cases, contact through the centre was limited to a certain level of time, but I was given permission to keep meeting with Maddie. She was torn in her conflict with the person she pretended to be and the person she truly felt she wanted to be. She'd fallen in love, and her desperation that she wanted to be authentic in this relationship. She was terrified that in being her true self, she would lose this man. She'd built up so many layers of barriers and protection in order to protect herself, she didn't know she could cope. We met weekly for a whole year, and I watched an adventure in courage and determination unfold as Maddie slowly peeled off the layers of her adopted persona and cautiously tested the waters in her relationship. Long story short, one day she told me we could stop meeting. She had not only stripped away the layers of protection and experienced the joy of being her authentic self, but she came to the realization that she'd always been the perfect person that she dreamt of being. It was her true self that she'd been drawn to. She was so fearful that she wouldn't be lovable or even enough for someone to love that she'd buried her true self. It was such a privilege for me to have her in my experience. We're urged to change persistent, self-demeaning thoughts and words and change them to positive ones. Not superficial, happy, la-la land stuff, but supportive, meaningful ideas. They have to resonate with us. We can make this a powerful process when we acknowledge our emotions and feelings about our lives. But we need to be aware of how we judge ourselves, how we criticize, shame, or sabotage ourselves. Sometimes we feel we're doing all the right things and we still feel stuck, because none of you feel that way, right? Are you ready to free yourself from these limiting patterns and blocks? Yes. This is where Dr. Mori would say, how many people was that? Don't panic. There's actually 4 more Sundays in May and we can work through this together. So as we heal our relationship with our inner critic, that judge that pushes us down, we can break the patterns that hold us back. It's so time to reconnect with our true selves. I like to have an inspiring statement where I can see it easily. My latest one is from Oprah Winfrey. It says, every time you suppress some part of yourself or allow others to make you feel small, you are, in essence, ignoring the owner's manual that your Creator gave you, and you're destroying the design for your life. It's time to stop living the life you think you should live and start creating the one you want to live. So repeat with me, I'm blessed and grateful for my emotions and feelings. I accept them as guides for my spiritual growth. I'm on my way to personal freedom. So now we're going to enjoy a video by Everyday People, Playing for Change. Thank you.
Sometimes I'm right and I can be wrong. My own beliefs are in my songs. Butcher, the baker, the drummer, and then makes no difference what group I'm in.
But sometimes I'm right and I can be wrong. My own beliefs are in my song. The butcher, the banker, the drummer, and then it makes no difference what group I'm in. 'Cause I
feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God when I pray. I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray.
So this is the time of our meditation. So I invite you to close your eyes and just get comfortable. And let's know together, and let's feel together that power, that presence, that divine essence. Breathe it in. Feel it within your inner sanctuary, and know it is a loving, beautiful energy that sustains you, maintains you, guides you every step of your way. That light and love is the essence of your being. And sometimes throughout the day you may forget that. But know it now and feel it now, that strength, that power, that guidance, that understanding, that knowing, right here and right now. As I feel that in my being, I know that there are new beginnings here. There is a change in my mind right here and right now, letting go of whatever needs to be released and embracing the new, embracing the truth, embracing the goodness and the light and the love that is who I am. I stand in my greatness now, and it isn't only a soul thing, it is a united thing. So as I look into the eyes of the people that I see today, I know that that oneness is real, and their truth is real. And we are truly united in this loving energy. And I stand in that, knowing that anything that might be opposite of that is removed from my experience. Everything occurs today for a benefit. Even what might appear to be negative, I know is for a good reason, and it wakes me up to that truth. And it's not just a solemn thing, it is fun. I have fun with my life. It is exciting to be me. Say it in your mind, it's exciting to be me. Know that truth, that it's light and buoyant and energized and filled with a real joy. Not just happiness, but joy. That essence. So I see joy everywhere I go today. When I go out into the world, that is what I see. And that is what I feel. And that is what I identify with. And so I know, as I let this prayer go into the universe, that law of mind is already acting on it. It is the truth of my being. I am so grateful to be here right as I am right now at this time and place on this planet. And I give thanks that my prayer is always answered. We let it be so, and let us affirm together, and so it is. I thought we were going to have Daniel. We were pausing for Daniel.
When I pray,
There we go. Daniel was a little late.
Introducing you to the woman and the legend, which I know is going to walk out any minute. She has to have her mic on, but she has come. Yes. Okay, then we are here with it, ready to hand it off. It could be opening soon. I think it's opening. What do you think? And it could be she comes out this way. You know, what a dramatic entrance, I'm telling you. She needs to get her shoes on. Maybe fix her hair. It's been a long drive. And okay, I'm going to tell you something about Dr. Sue. Many of you have known her well, but you may not have taken a class from her. I didn't exactly take a class from her, but I invited her to come and teach a class for our ministerial students. And it was amazing. But one of the things that it reinforced to me is what I said several minutes ago. She believes so strongly in the absolute, and she treats from that experience. Some of my ministerial students have had different training, and they treat differently. Now, some of you may have had that experience with different people.
Ooh.
But Dr. Sue,
Da, 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 da.
Dr. Sue is an absolutist, and nobody does it better than she does. So the woman, the legend, who's going to take off her mask.
She has the mic.
The woman, the legend, Dr. Sue Rubin.
Andy. So, what's new? It's been a while. You know, I haven't been here in over 2 years. So, what have we all learned in that time? You know, Emerson used to say that when he would come back from summer vacation, and he'd look around the room, and he'd say, so, what have you learned since last we met? Kathy, would you do me a favor? That water is in my purse. Kathy, never mind doing me the favor, I have it. Okay, so, that being the case, I would trust we're all changed in some way from the way we were. And so just for my benefit, would you join me in a moment of catching up with life in a harmonious way? Just take a minute, as I do for myself, trusting and knowing that all is well, that which I am, all are, everything is God, therefore infinitely good and very good. And in just a moment of silence, I just capped that with the acceptance, the faith, the truth of knowing this is the way it really, absolutely is. And so it is. Okay, so many years ago, 1776, to be exact, and I was not here then. Thomas Paine said, "These are the times that try men's souls." Did you ever hear that one before? And it was all because of, obviously, the British invading the colonies. Sound familiar to anything that's going on today on far-flung shores? And he went on to talk about the fact that no man has the capacity to do that. That is under the governance of the laws of life, the laws of God. And so I think that the times that we've all been experiencing, and the times we thought one thing, such as COVID, was over, well, that's not really true either. And the concept of getting back to business as usual is a fantasy, because unless we adapt to new times and changing times and allow for that creatively evolving mind and heart of the universe to emerge, not only personally, but collectively, then we're stagnating. And really, what is there to look for except more of the same? In the Centers for Spiritual Living, if one so desires, there's a yearly and a monthly and then a weekly topic and theme. And I don't think that Dr. Moira really follows it, nor do I when I'm speaking. But today it somewhat fits because the theme for May is emotions, and being grounded in that truth of our being. And as the saying goes, if not now, when? And if not us, who? And if we're the only ones just doing our own private work, what does that do for anybody else? And I think that's the point at which I'm understanding more fully that it's been an educational process, to be sure, all of us stabilizing our own structures mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, creatively, and somewhat being preoccupied, perhaps many times for the best reasons, but to be self-preoccupied is ultimately to become self-absorbed and to not give credence to or attention to, well, how is the work I'm doing interiorly and spiritually, how is that benefiting the world? What is that of value only to me so that I can be prettier and younger and healthier and more prosperous and more fulfilled in my own life? It just isn't enough anymore. So I think it's graduation time. And as many of the modern spiritual teachers are referring, it's time to consciously be evolving in harmony with the universe. Meaning, if life as we understand it metaphysically, cosmically, and universally is perfection, it's wholeness, it's harmony, it's completeness, then being one with the way life works, we obviously are not separate from it. We're cut from that same matter, that spiritual stuff of which stars and flowers and animals and plants and all of life is, with one added ingredient. We have the conscious ability to think, to believe, to have this conviction that regardless of what's going on in the outer realm, life is good. Please say that with me. Life is good. Now, what about my life? See, it always comes back to each of us really being that individualized expression of God. So all I'm suggesting is that's all well and good, but being that realization that life is good, what is that from me that is forthcoming if and when I give it my undivided attention? And the attention is developed through everything that science of mind offers, predominantly I believe, something that wasn't offered years ago. That's meditation. Unless you and I develop the practice of some form of meditation that keeps us anchored and centered and tethered to the truth, then have you noticed we meander? I meander. It's not as easy for me to sit in meditation anymore. I find my human mind, my thinking mind, wants to meander, it wants to wander. It wants to say, well, you haven't listened to the news today. God knows what's going on now, not only in Ukraine, but we don't have to look too far within our own tottering democratic state. It's true. And if we're not looking at it now and saying, yeah, we never want to repeat what happened in the past, well, it's happening now. The past is the present, and the future is predicated upon what is happening in the present. So meditation, and to me, one of the greatest tools that man as God's expression could ever come up with, and that is spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer. And not just for those quiet moments of sitting and meditating and being so pristine and pure and perfect, but it's like now that I've established that ground of being, am I feeling its presence as a fortifying power that equips me to get out in the world and deal with everything that occurs on all levels, personally, interpersonally, locally, globally. I mean, it seems to me, and I've been around a long time, in all of my years, I never remember something that is not only as severe and really traumatic as it's been, but it continues. And I think, and I believe, I don't really know that it's valid, but I have a suspicion that this is all something that is revealing itself through that universal mind that we share with the planet and with all the creations in all of the multifaceted forms that they take of creation, and with the thinking, believing, directive intelligence and love that gives us an avenue through which to move life and its energy and its love and its intelligence out in a remarkable way that benefits people. If you haven't read Science of Mind, the just completed month of April, I really recommend it, particularly for the daily guides. They're written by a beautiful woman called Reverend Joanne McFadden. And her dad, many of you perhaps remember him, her dad was Dr. Don Curtis. Anybody? He was a fabulous biblical, metaphysical, interpretive teacher. And he was also a minister for many years in my most recent neck of the woods out in Camarillo, California. She's his daughter. And she does not have a formal, quote-unquote, pulpit type ministry. She's a teacher. She teaches the classes, comes up with other experiential classes, and through last month's guides, she likes to tell stories, and stories help us resonate and kind of recognize that, oh, these are normal people doing things. These aren't the Maya Angelou's and the Wayne Dyers and the Ernest Holmes and Eric Butterworths. These are everyday people who have obviously been practicing the presence in their own unique way and have discovered outlets for its expression that do not only bring pleasure and fulfillment to themselves, but to the world. And so one example that just pops in my mind this morning is a school teacher. And of course, this had all been following being on Zoom and out of contact with her class, as they were without contact for her other than online. And she thought, they're coming back now. Let me do something. And she pondered, taking into the silence, into meditation, into spiritual mind treatment. Well, what can I do? I'm a mother myself, and yes, I teach. And she thought, I'll use a life-affirming message, and I'll put it on each and every child's locker, so that when they come back for the first time, they'll have that immediate uplift. And so there are 1,200 students in that school. And so she figured out mathematically, if she did like 120 a day for X amount of days, do the math. That was never my forte, because I've always stuck with the one. And every zero you put after that one, it just multiplies the good of the one. Really, that's the simplicity. So anyway, she set about the task, and sure enough, about 2 days before school was ready to open, she proceeded to go to each locker and put the affirmation. And I want to cry when I just see the simplicity, because people say, I feel so hopeless. I feel like I should be doing anything. And I'll get right to the bottom line. I'll say, well, for starters, are you donating regularly to wonderful places that are helping Ukraine, and to whatever the party of your free choice is, to support them in upcoming elections or right in your area? I'm on the Nextdoor app, and one of the participants on that app in my neighborhood decided, just like on Facebook, just like in all social media, eventually the conversation finds its way into, well, I didn't like what he did or she did, and why do we allow this, and what's wrong with them? And so this woman decided, no, I'm going to initiate the practice of gratitude. And I'm just going to each day find the readings that seem to be out of sorts, to put it mildly, and I'm going to just say, I'm so grateful for my next door neighbor, who I saw was gathering food for the food pantry in our local area. And people pick up. There's a contagion in our thought. And for whatever reason, humanly, it seems far easier to fall prey to the infection of the contagion of negativity, and to misrepresenting our true identity and going along with the crowd in doing that. And so that's what she did. She said, isn't it wonderful? And then someone else picked up and said, yeah, my neighbor came by and gave me the most gorgeous flowers from her garden, because mine hasn't sprouted yet. So there is always something to do, and in everyday life, the life that you live and walk through every day, it's like, that's our treatment. For me, that's the focus of my treatment, to keep my attention so steady, and I will be diverted. I mean, take for today the unusual Dr. Mora wanting a day off. Oh my God, what a concept. And so, and she hesitates because she knows I'm in Thousand Oaks, and and somehow after people were finally permitted to come out of sequestering, there's more traffic on the road than I've ever seen in my life. And not just coming south, but going north in the other direction. So in any case, there's always something that life will offer in the physical realm, in conditional situations, that will say, see, I told you. You with all your treating and meditating, look, you're getting all fired up here, and not in the best way. And so the immediacy with which we respond to life is the benefit of treatment. It's not what we're doing in the safety, ideally, and seclusion of our own meditation room. It's what we do when we get out among them, when we're out milling around in life. And if we can't use our spirituality and the divine truth of our wholeness and innate capacity for wisdom and knowledge and creativity and warmth and kindness and compassion, and on and on and on, then what the heck? What is it all for? So it reminds me of something I never really paid attention to. When the Buddha, when Siddhartha was sitting under that Bodhi tree for as long as it took to get the message, to get the light fully, brilliantly switched on in his own awareness, after, remember, when he discovered that there was pain and suffering and death and illness and starvation, that's when he decided to leave the confines of his luscious and lavish existence and head out into life, out in the marketplace. However, when he was sitting under that tree, one of the village women decided, well, after being an ascetic and being so skinny and starved, he must want some food to provide him with the physical sustenance while he's feeling that conscious and deeply subjective acceptance of the divine presence. And so she brought him some warm rice milk. And it was only after his body was fed that he awakened to the truth. And remember, people would say to him, "Are you a priest? Are you God? Are you a saint?" And he would say, "Nope, I'm just awake." And yeah, we wake up, and then it's like, nod off. And how do we do that? And how do I know we do that? Because I do that. No one of us is anything but both a saint and a fool every day. When we look in the mirror, it's like, who do I want to be today? And the consistency of being that saintly, godly, not being sweet and really overly acting the part, but really being that which God is me. Where can I lend a hand? Where can I, when I'm moving out of that supermarket, and what's going on in supermarkets with shortages and with all of what clerks have already experienced. What if I say, "Hey, your hair looks great today"? And always they have the name tag. You can always say, "Harriet." God, that Harriet Foster said, "What about me?" Yes, we think of you always. And so there's something in your realm of influence that you can do to improve upon somebody's mood, somebody's emotion. Remember, feelings, to what I understand, feelings are innate, and yet there's only one divine feeling in that infinite universal sense, and that is love. And of course, there are all other kinds of subheadings. But basically, love, I think, is the energy that keeps the glue together. And so we feel many aspects of love. We feel its compatible qualities. We feel its opposite, seemingly opposite qualities to some, and it seems pretty valid to me. The most glaring opposite of love is fear. God, remember the days of Jerry Jampolsky and Dr. Love, Tom Costa, and then the actual teacher Leo something, who taught love. I mean, there it is. Everyone talks about it, and I think we all get spooked because it's always presented as divine unconditional love. Well, that's a pretty heady and hearty. Is that 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute? I don't care. I'm continuing. Live with it. So, yeah, love is it. And when you take the onus off conditions, then how can I be less conditional? How can I like someone who I've really never liked before? How can I see them and truly place them unshakably in that same mind and heart of God that I am? How can I be that living representation of generosity? How can I simply be kinder and more patient and not so preoccupied, but I don't feel well today, so you take care of things. How can I just look aside? Because if I live, move, and have my being in that ground of perfection, wholeness, and harmony, then of course I'm equipped to meet any and every situation, near and far. We all are living in uncertain times. The future is no longer even a particle of predictability that it was. And I know in some fashion, the universe is showing us by demonstration in every area that we still haven't got it to the point it is needed. So we've all got it to the point we've got it, but now it's time to step it up, to really move it upward, onward, and forward. As predictable it is to know that there is one permanent, changeless, lasting, eternal goodness and love and generosity and creativity and wisdom, there is equally the human life through which it constantly shows itself by means of you, by means of me. And if I can make that commitment to be better, and it isn't always easy, it really isn't, but I can do it because I know there's something that continues to prompt me on, to move me forward, to say, yes, the I am as you can, no matter what. So that's what I call forth within myself. It's very nice to see you. Let's talk out there and everywhere with our masks on. And so begins yet another lesson, and so it is.
There's no one like Reverend Dr. Sue Rubin. Thank you so much for being here, for going through all you went through to get here. Do you need something? No? Okay. She needs nothing. This is the time in our service where we offer our gifts up, and we do this with such love. And as Dr. Moira often says, only give with love. Only give with that idea that what I have to give is what I want to give. So I invite you to repeat after me. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. It prospers all who give and all who receive. And I release my gift with love. And so it is. In just a moment, we're going to have a little bit more music. But one of the things I want to share with you is, it's interesting, it's almost a follow-up to what Dr. Sue was talking about today, but it was never planned to be that way. We often in this point, and we do this during our offering because we want you to understand what you're supporting when you're giving your gifts. And it is our mission to honor your presence, to nurture your spirit, and to enrich the lives of all we serve. And we celebrate the messages that people share with us that show how we're doing that. And this one reads, I'm so grateful for our teaching and for the simplicity of the lessons. I do aim to use science of mind in my life, especially when I have challenges. Recently, I did have several challenges, and I treated for my issues. I didn't see the results I expected, and I had to deal with the disappointment. Then I remembered that I needed to be more clear to myself and to know more fully that truth within myself, and I needed to know it for others as well. I continued treating, this time with patience. My desired outcome has come to pass, and I feel that I have grown in the process, and I'm so especially grateful. And we're grateful, yes, we're grateful for the message. And now I think we're going to have a little bit more music from Billy, and let's enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Reverend Sue. It's so great to see you. I'm teaming up with Holy Spirit. I'm teaming up with God. I'm teaming up with Holy Spirit. I'm teaming up with love. If I lost my way, I'm gonna find it again. 'Cause that's the way, that's the way we roll. That's how we roll. First I listen and I hear it. I hear the voice of God. First I listen and I hear it. I hear the sound of love. If I forget to pray, I'm gonna wake up again. 'Cause that's the way, that's the way we roll. That's the way, that's the way. That's how we roll, you know. First I feel it, then I see it. I see the face of God. First I feel it, then I see it. I see the hands of love. If I lost my way, I'm gonna find it again. 'Cause that's the way, that's the way we roll. We rollin', we rollin'. I am the precipitation of visible presence of all that I desire. No man, no woman shall interfere with. I am calling on health and harmony. God moving through each and every one of us right here and right now. I'm so grateful for that. And so we can roll on. We can roll on, right? Yeah. We roll. I say, that's the way, that's the way we roll. Right, Andy? We roll. That's the way, that's the way. We roll.
We have really had a very, very special today. And we've come to the end of our service. And so let's just take a deep breath. And know that as we are blessing, the blessing is going to come up, if Grant will do that. And as the blessing will come up, Dr. Sue is going to come up and help lead us in this blessing. It is right here, if you want it there. And it's coming up there.
I'm ahead of myself. I want to cherish every moment. So, I don't know, every week you might be doing the same thing. And the words need to take on a new dimension. So today, let's do the treatment for what we're about to affirm and declare as already being so. And just put that emotion, the movement of energy in motion, in a very calm, clear, and decisive way that you know and I know where the source, the substance, and the supply of everything comes from. So, together, with feeling, with emotion. Let's declare. I know divine love enfolds me. Divine love leads me. Divine love lives in me. Divine wisdom inspires me. Divine compassion expresses through me. And divine power protects me. All that I am is Spirit's life in expression. It is good and very good. With deep joy and generosity filling me, I go forward now in sacred service, supporting a compassionate world that works for all. I move through my days with grace and ease, in peace and love, in health and wellness, in fullness and plenty, and in loving relationship with all. What I now know for myself, with blessing and in deep, there is only God. There is only good. Catherine, I'll give you back. You know, to me, it's like, come together and know the truth. There is that within me which divinely is full and whole, complete and perfect. And I give from this overflow of abundance, of richness, to that which continues to support and sustain good works, good deeds, good awareness, that which God is, as myself and all. So I give freely, I give fully, I give generously, always in everything I do, by word, feeling, and deed. For I know that that which is doing it is the very one life, one presence, one power, and one principle of infinite, overflowing good, prosperous and abundant from the inside out. And so it is. I've got the whole thing like screwed up here, but that's okay. You want to do the mission statement, then I'll close with a treat. Oh, okay. Wait, hang on, guys. Hang on. No, that was an abundant blessing. Now I'm doing the closing treatment. So it's a whole new world at Redondo today. And here we go. And then, by all means, lead us forward in music. Okay, so while I'm on my feet, and while my mind is crystal clear in the awareness of God's presence, I take the words that touch the very base and core of my being, heard today through music, through word, through silence, through that clear inner knowing that is invoked within me, that causes me to evoke the presence, the power, the creativity, the wisdom and loving honor it is to be of service to the divine in human form as me, as all. So whatever is going on in the world of facts, of figures, of numbers, of circumstances and conditions, I look for that which lies beneath, that which is compassionate, wise, overflowing with goodness, with creativity, with imagination, and with the capacity to do all good works, not by myself, but by virtue of the divine that does it by means of me. So I take more and more of love as kindness, as flexibility, as generosity of spirit, as compassion, as kindness and givingness. And that's where my love becomes less and less conditional toward myself and toward all others. And so life is good. I know this because I am it. And in harmony, acceptance, and gratitude, together let's all declare, and so it is.